be discussing her faith and how it's been an anchor for her, how faith has guided her entire adult life since her childhood, and through discernment. Through answer of prayer, Jesus has shown himself to her and has guided her through many difficult situations. Using her spiritual tools and the knowledge that she's accumulated over the years, and loving herself, she's able to love others and share the light of God. And now, during this pandemic, she is spreading no fear and love. In addition to starting Heart Center Healing, Anna is a registered nurse, a Reiki master teacher, an angel card reader, an intuitive, and an ordained minister. We welcome today's spark, Anna Bojczuk. Anna's very exciting to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cindy. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I mean, I'm just so excited to be here. I hope everybody could hear me. I'm outside, in the fresh air, enjoying the air and nature, and I want to share my faith as my anchor with everybody today. I have been so blessed. I have been inspired by everybody, the connections that I have met, people past couple of years that have helped me, especially during this past couple of years of my life that have been very challenging. But as I look back and went back through time from my childhood, I realized that I've been there all along, and I have a strength of God and grace that has helped me through this period of time in my life. And questioning, why is this happening to me? Why is all these things constantly? And then I said to myself, why not? Why shouldn't it happen to me? I mean, I'm a child of God. I'm here to learn and grow and expand and share my experiences with other people so that I'm able to help other people. And as a childhood started, I realized early on that I was there to be a helper, to help my mother go through a hard period in her time, of her life, and my father. It was just difficult because they were immigrants from Ukraine, but they were in Germany. After the war, they came here in 1950, and they, didn't have work at first, and it was a very difficult time for them. And I brought my mother. It was two of us, my brother Carl, he was 6 years older, and myself, and everything. I thought everything was normal. That it was normal not to have any grandparents. It was normal not to have other people like cousins and aunts, and I just thought, well, maybe this is it. I really didn't question too much at first, but then later on, as I got a little bit older, I realized that there was some difficulties going on. My brother turned out to be, let's just say, a juvenile delinquent. That's the best way to put it, mildly, very mildly. He suffered from a lot of, now I realize, probably some spirit entities probably were there in place. I realized that recently, but at the time, I didn't know what was going on. And I just started praying. I would go to church, and didn't really know what I was praying for, but I guess I was praying for peace to survive, because I saw that my mom was suffering. So with that, I wanted to help her. I wanted to ease her pain and suffering the best I could. And the only way I could do that is by being there for her, being present, being there to help her through the times when my brother would get arrested, and I was there to interpret. She didn't speak English very well, so I was the interpreter. My main language, first language, is Ukrainian. So I guess, like I said, it's been very confusing for me. I blocked some of it out. I'll be honest, I blocked some of it out because it was painful to watch. But basically, it took a long time for him to get any kind of help. It was a long struggle, a long battle for him. My father wasn't really involved. He, let's just say, he kind of, stepped out of the picture. He was there, but he, emotionally, mentally, I don't think he knew how to deal with it, and it kind of fell on my shoulders. And it was like, okay, but I took the role. It was almost like, okay, I just knew I had to do it. Something inside me was guiding me. A light inside me said, this is it. I need to help. And I did it willingly for a while. Later on in my teenage years, I got a little resentful. But in the beginning, I did it because I really wanted to help my mother. And my faith got tested a couple of times along the way, because as it got more difficult with my brother, I had to step up even more. And the reason some of it was difficult was because I was very shy. This had left me being very shy. I really couldn't speak too much, especially to other people, because I knew I could not discuss this with other people because they would not understand. The Ukrainian community is small but large at the same time. So everybody kind of knows your business. So I really didn't want other people to know that we had a dysfunctional family. I guess that's the best way to put it. And I didn't realize all this stuff, but I just knew that I couldn't speak about it. So I kept a lot of stuff in, and the prayer is what helped me. The prayer is definitely, Jesus helped me. I really saw that the power of prayer was intense, the light, and would help guide me as to how to help my mother, how to help, my father, and the situation I was in. And it got, like I said, a little bit harder only because as I got older and I realized more and more. And then the true test came when my mom passed away in front of me. I was 19 at the time. I know I jumped a little bit, but I watched her pass away within minutes of an apparent heart attack. And it was very, very difficult. I was so angry because here now I'm stuck with my brother who's ill and my father doesn't care. And yes, I went through a period of shock and denial and anger. And why did you do this, God? Why did you do this to me? Why? I love my mother. I wanted her with me. And I just kept on praying hard, really hard. And my brother basically had a nervous breakdown. At that point, I just said, hey, you got to stop drinking. You were the cause of my mom's death. I blamed him. And I realized I wasn't right for me to do that. But at the time, I that's what I felt. I'll be honest, that's what I felt. But like I said, with prayer and focusing now on him and getting him healthy to the best of my ability, I became a nurse a couple years later. I wasn't a nurse at the time when my mom died. I became a registered nurse, and I focused on him getting help. Stop drinking. Make something of yourself. But the drinking was easy. He did stop. But unfortunately, he then lost his mind. So God works in mysterious ways. So he went into a psychiatric hospital. I pushed, and that's where I got my voice. And just kept saying, you know what? I got to fight for him. I need help too, So I started, speaking my truth, my mind, hey, my brother needs help. You got to help him. I kept getting to run around. Finally, I found somebody, a doctor that helped him and put him on the right medication. And of course, it was a little battle with him not taking the medicines and not, cooperating that way. We go on for a couple of years into my early 20s. And then I moved out of my home at the time. And he was luckily, a power of prayer brought him into a special home. And that was great. My neighbor's dog. That's what I was afraid of. But anyway, they get help. And he was in a nice home, and I was able to go into my own power with being a nurse and helping other people. But of course, that was still in the back of my mind with him, how can I help him more, and he did go through a lot of trauma. He had a fugue episode. I don't know if people know what that is, where he would just take off, and he was like on a train in New York, and he wound up in a hospital. And I just kept having these challenges. And then how Spirit worked for me is I met my friend Barbara, who got me back into the church again, raised Byzantine Rite Catholic, Eastern Rite. But she took me to a Roman Catholic priest, and I had my confession and was able to release a lot of the anger over the years that had occurred prior. And that really helped me. And she got me into the charismatic movement, where the Spirit is very strong with the Holy Spirit, So my faith really I saw Jesus help me during one crisis when he had shown himself to me that he was there right by my side. And I felt his Spirit, and really rejuvenated me to the point I'm dedicating my life to helping other people through love and being the beacon of light for people. My brother got somewhat better. Like I feel he reconciled himself to what had occurred. So meanwhile, while all this is going on, I got married, and then started going to, let's just say, I realized I wasn't able to have a child right away, so I went through infertility. And if anybody's been there, it's a roller coaster ride, pretty bad, intense roller coaster ride. And let me tell you, when I say I was praying day and night, I was praying day and night. And as it got closer and I realized that the treatments were not working, I fought hard for adoption. And it took me to Ukraine, of all places, my heritage. And I have cousins there. I had met, a lot of my cousins before when I had traveled there once before, but seeing them again, this was in 1993, it was beautiful because it was just right back to my roots again, my lineage, and it was just fantastic. And the power of prayer. And let me tell you, I prayed because the doors did not look like it was going to open up for an adoption over there, but I let go of it. I surrendered. We went to a mass up on the top of a hill, and it was, Blessed Mother statues there. Jesus was there, and I prayed, and I basically let go completely. I surrendered to God's will. If you want me to have a child, okay. If not, then I completely let go of it. I meant it. And the next day, the door opened up. And I went to the orphanage. We found my daughter Maria, 6 weeks old. It was like a miracle, total miracle, an answer to prayer. And I just was ecstatic. And it took a little while. Still had to continue to believe. And a couple of weeks later, I brought Maria home to Philadelphia. And she was like, at that time, she was about 2 months old. And I'm blessed. She's 26 years old currently. And I let her know about the adoption. And I wrote a diary, and I gave her the diary of my experiences while I was over there. And I'm just so overjoyed. And I just so thankful, appreciative, because there's so many people were struggling to find a child, and it was like she was waiting for us. So for a long time after that, I shouldn't say long time. It was actually 6 months, I believe, after I was home with my daughter. I brought my daughter home. My brother passed away. They found him on the floor, in the house that he was living in, and I was like, okay, I figured. My mom called him in. It was time. He had, did everything he could. At least he had a chance to meet, my daughter. It just was difficult because all these years I didn't think that he would die like that, but I was happy that he went quickly, just like my mom had died quickly. So the Lord was gentle with him, and was only 46 years old. It was difficult, and then I believe. Let's see, I'm trying to pace myself now. Then my father died in 1990. So it was actually my father had died before him. I forgot about that. Sorry. Not that it didn't matter. The story was, at least, he knew, my father knew that we were pursuing the adoption. He just didn't see Maria. But he had also, it was a lot of losses in a short amount of time for me. So that kind of threw me in a spin. But, I was working, dedicated to my family. Family is very important to me. It's all about family. It's all about love, connection. And, my friends became my extended family, and it helped a lot. And but unfortunately, what started happening, I believe, was just some disconnect started happening for me because I wasn't focused on prayer like I had been. I mean, we were going to church and everything, but I wasn't really focusing on my commitment like I had been. I guess I felt, just, being a wife, a mother, going to work, was enough, but it really was not enough because I wasn't really being fed internally. And I'm not sure if that's exactly what started happening, but I believe that's what happened with my marriage. It started becoming disconnected, and eventually it failed. Sorry, I didn't think it would happen. I feared, I felt I had been already been through enough in my life. Like, why again is this going on? So painful. I asked Lord to help me to see, to show me, why is this happening? Why show me? So he did show me. It took about 7 months later, but I did get my answer to prayer. I said, no matter what, I want to know, is it me? Am I doing something wrong? And basically, I'm sure I had contributed to a lot of it. My husband decided he wanted to be with another woman. And I'm sure it's a story that's played out all across America, but it's or in the world. But this is happening to me. It's like, why is this happening to me? So I just devoted myself, renewed myself with prayer. But at first, before the prayer, the heavy duty prayers came denial, the river, Nile, denial. Just live this life of, my husband, I decided to stick it out only because of my daughter. I refused to have her be in a broken home. My dedication was for family life. But basically, it worked for a while, but then, unrest did come. And now basically I realized that, my faith, has been there all along, even through those times of the bad times. I call the bad times, that my faith did get me through. I pulled my anchor out again, out of my bag of tricks, my spiritual tricks. And I said, okay. And then my therapist suggested meetup. I'm like, meetup? What the heck is that? So I found the Karen Angels. I found Being One Center. I found a lot of wonderful people that I met, and through them, other people came along, other meetups. But I primarily had focused on the Being One Center. They had given me a lot. They, through Diana, who's the head there, she helped me to heal my broken heart, helped me to guide me back to my center, helped guide me back to my source energy, and feel again, be like, feel that pain, feel that, work on my chakras, work on, I didn't even know what a chakra was. But, then through that, I had education to learn about these things and learn more about the divine and oneness consciousness. And I expanded my mind completely and let go of my fear, let go of being alone, let go of things that no longer resonated with me. I became a new Anna, rebirth and expanded. And I realized that we are here for lessons. We are here to, to learn and grow in our challenges. And there was other challenges along the way, of course, but, each one I met with faith and commitment. If anything, it said, you know what, this is not going to ruin me. My faith is everything. And I won't let anyone disturb it. It's very important. And it gave me a lot of peace and tranquility and learning to reach out to other people again and not to be ashamed of my past, not to be, let's just say, be vulnerable to, to speaking what's going on and my truth. And perhaps this will help other people. Perhaps this is why it happened to me. This is what I came here for. My contract, maybe the contract with my husband wasn't supposed to last forever, but hey, I'm here with a new contract of sharing and spreading my love, unconditional love for others, and showing people by my example, by being the beacon of light for other people, just by being me. And of course, loving myself. It was a little hard. I had blamed myself for a lot of things. Of course, you feel guilty for this, you feel guilty for that. My daughter came out when she was 16 that she is gay, and that was very difficult for me to process at the time. Now I'm in full acceptance of her, and she's married to a beautiful woman, and I'm so happy for her, and that she found love in her life, because it's all about love. It really is. And the more we realize that, then we see, the beauty that is out there, that we are all one. Our oneness ties us all together, and we are all very powerful. as a group and as a nation and as a whole continent, we really can do a lot by not showing that fear of what's going on right now, not showing, that, hey, that we're scared, that we believe, like this song, came on in the beginning. Imagine, dragons believe. We need to believe in ourselves. We need to believe in other people. We need to spread that joy and happiness, share our light. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. The Lord is with you. Jesus is with you. Buddha, all the ascended masters, all the guides. We are not alone. We are here to love and grow every day. Every day is a blessing. Every day I'm grateful. Every day I wake up, I'm thankful. Mother Earth, and just seeing how everything is, the pollution, everything is going away. It's like, wow. It's like, there's a lot of changes going on and there's a lot of changes ahead of us, but we can do it. We can do it. We could succeed. And I guess the message again is just be who you are. Do not be afraid to show who you are. Be vulnerable. Open up to everything in life, everything that life has to offer. And I love you all. I send a message of love to everybody, from my heart to your heart. Just all beautiful people. I'm just so happy to be here. God bless. Amen. And so it is.
Thank you, Anna, for that inspiring message. I have to say, what was, to me, most inspirational about your story is that you're a survivor. Tenacity in your faith, and you held the candle, rekindling that light, not just for yourself, but for others, bringing light into the darkness and rekindling that light and the love and continuing that faith. You touched my heart today.
Thank you.
Beautiful message.